Hi everyone, and welcome to Shades of Love. Ashley here. If you're new, welcome. If you're not new and you've been here for a little bit, then welcome back. Hey, did you know that, 15 minutes of laughter equals the benefit of 2 hours of sleep? Just a little fun fact for you. Anyway, just a heads up that the content in this video is adult content. So since this is a romance novel, you will get some romance scenes. That being said, 18 and older, please. If you like what you hear, you like what you see, then please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Give me a thumbs up or leave me a comment or both or all four or, whatever. I'm not your boss, so you're going to do what you want to do. But anyway, I really hope that you like what I'm sharing and that you, follow along. Anyway, I hope you're doing well and you've had a great week. You had a great weekend. You have great plans coming up. Whatever the case may be, I hope everything's going well. If not, send me a message. Let me know. I can chat, because, we all need somebody to talk to, right? Yeah, I know. Anyway, so after you subscribed and hit the notification bell, then just stay tuned. Sit tight. Put down your listening cap because the next chapter is on its way. Chapter 7. School's Out. By me. He stood there looking at the door for a while after Belle left. Damn. She was beautiful and sexy as hell. He loved his wife to death, but there was just something about Belle, something that pulled him in like a magnet. He just couldn't stop his actions. He couldn't keep away. He'd been with his wife for a few years before he hired Miss Thomas, and he was still happy with his wife, but Miss Thomas allowed him to express his need for control in ways his wife never would. And he needed that. He needed her, Miss Thomas, as much as he needed to breathe. Call him an ass, call him a cheat, call him a bastard. But would it be fair to ask him to stop doing something that helped him keep alive, to help him keep sane? No, it wasn't. It wasn't fair at all. So he would continue to have his meetings here with Belle for as long as they could get away with it. He shook his head to clear his mind of the thoughts. He needed to concentrate because in just a few minutes he was going to have his first of 3 meetings with staff, and he had a pretty good idea these meetings would be to complain. The number of one-on-one appointments with him had risen drastically since word got around that there may be something going on between him and Belle, or Miss Thomas. It was the last few months, maybe even throughout the school year, that there was a rumble that started to grow and got louder and louder. He would overhear the men in the lounge talking about how great Belle was and how lucky he was for getting the chance to quote-unquote hit that. Did he feel lucky? Oh, hell yeah. Did he think the guys were any competition? Oh, hell no. No. Belle would put an end to what they shared, him and Belle, to start over again with one of those men. He fed her hunger. Chapter 7. Mr. Cooper, from School's Out. By me. He stood there looking at the door for a while after Belle left. Damn. She was beautiful and sexy as hell. He loved his wife to death, but there was just something about Belle, something that pulled him in like a magnet. He just couldn't stop his actions. He couldn't keep away. He'd been with his wife for a few years before he hired Miss Thomas, and he was still happy with his wife. But Miss Thomas allowed him to express his need for control in ways his wife never would. And he needed that. He needed her, Miss Thomas, as much as he needed the air to breathe. Call him an ass, a bastard, or a cheat, but would it be fair to ask him to stop doing something that helped him stay alive and stay sane? No, it wasn't. It wasn't there at all. So he would continue to have his meetings here with Belle for as long as they could get away with it. He shook his head to clear his mind of the thoughts. He needed to concentrate because in just a few moments he was going to have his first of 3 meetings with staff, and he had a pretty good idea that these meetings were set so people could complain. The number of one-on-one appointments with him had risen drastically since word got around that there may be something going on between him and Belle. It was a quiet rumor when the talk first started, but it had turned into a loud rumble over the last few months, maybe even throughout the school year. He would overhear the men in the lounge talking about how great Belle was and how lucky he was for getting a chance to quote-unquote hit that. Did he feel lucky? Oh, hell yeah. Did he think the guys were in any competition? Oh, hell no. Belle wouldn't put an end to what she shared with him to start up again with one of those men. He fed her hunger as much as she satisfied his. Neither of their spouses could compare, regardless of how much they loved them. He was just finishing clearing papers from his desk when there was a knockout at the door. "Come in," he called to whoever it was there on the other end. He looked up when the door opened and he saw Miss Shanks. Miss Shanks was a beautiful woman, but not really his type. She loved being in control. She loved being the one in charge. She was bossy and wasn't much of a team player. She was, however, one hell of a teacher, which was why she was still working at the school. He smiled at her when she closed the door. "What can I do for you today, Miss Shanks?" he questioned. He had a feeling it was to tell him how inappropriate his behavior was with Belle. And since he had turned her down for what had to have been the 100th time, she changed tactics, thinking that if she reminded him that he was married, a family man, that he would put an end to seeing Belle while at work. There wasn't anything she or anyone else could do or say, aside from telling his wife, that would stop him from spending time with Miss Thomas. She walked stiffly to the chair in front of his desk and took a seat. She folded her hands on her lap and looked at him, a severe expression showing across her features. "Mr. Cooper, I wanted to see you today to discuss with you a few things I've overheard, which upset me. They concern you in your unacceptable rendezvous with Miss Thomas. Your time with her is not only inappropriate, but is also unprofessional." He stared at her for a minute before responding. He didn't want to come to his own defense too quickly and give a guilty impression, but he had to address her and her nosy attitude and put an end to her thinking that she had any right to tell him how to conduct himself. "I appreciate your concern, Miss Shanks. However, I have to admit that I do not know what you're speaking of." There, let her try to explain. The more she spoke, the less he had to try to cover up anything. "You know exactly what I'm talking about, Mr. Cooper. Teachers and staff talk. Everyone knows about your secret meetings with Miss Thomas several times a week, and Mrs. Phillips has let many of us know on more than one occasion where she overhears in here, Mr. Cooper, when you're alone with Belle. Or Miss Thomas, should I say. You must stop this, Mr. Cooper. You are not treating your wife right, and you're not giving a good impression of our school." The gall of that woman to sit across from him and speak as if she were holier than he. Well, she had another thing coming. If she thought she could dictate his behavior. Belle didn't try, his wife never did, and Miss Shanks sure as hell wasn't going to tell him what to do either. "You should know better than to believe in rumors and gossip. What would you tell your students if they came to you with accusations that they had not witnessed themselves?" He loved these conversations with the staff. He always had a great laugh with Belle when they shared their experiences after their sessions. "Well, Mr. Cooper, that's completely different," she spluttered her answer. He leaned forward, placed his arms on the desk in front of him, and looked her in the eye. Different how, Miss Shanks? Please explain. Well, you see, it's... She kept tripping over her tongue to come up with some excuse to explain her reason as to why this was any different. Is it because these rumors are of and from adults, and that the ones you would deal with are from children? Rumors and gossip are still rumors and gossip, no matter what age, correct? Yes, that is true, but... He cut her off. So if a rumor and gossip are just a plain old rumor and gossip, the only difference being our ages, then why is it okay for adults and not for kids? Well, when you put it like that, Mr. Cooper, I guess it's not. No, it's not. And truthfully, I am a bit upset and frustrated that many of my staff of adults would believe this way. In all honesty, that is not showing our staff in a good light either. As I said several times before, Miss Shanks, nothing is going on between myself and Miss Thomas that you or anyone else need to concern yourselves with. He stood up then, signaling the end of their brief meeting. I appreciate you coming to me with this again. Please enjoy the rest of your afternoon with your class, and I hope to see you at the staff party next week. She huffed a few times, obviously frustrated with his attitude and response. Honestly, what did she think she would be able to accomplish coming in the way she did? She stood up and stormed out of his office, slamming the door behind her. He couldn't help but laugh at the childish antics. Not even his precious daughter behaved so immaturely, and she was still a toddler. Just wait until he told Belle about this one. Chuckling, he sat back down, shuffling through his papers, when his phone buzzed. His secretary was calling. He pressed the conference button so it would go to the loudspeaker. Yes, Miss Phillips? Mr. Jones is here in the office. He says he is scheduled to meet with you today. Yes, please send him in. He turned the speaker off at the same time as his door opened. Hello there, he greeted Max. The two of them went way back. Hey, Carter. Listen, I just wanted to go over a few documents. You have some time? Sure. Come on in. Take a seat. Once Max was seated, they carefully combed through the documents, making any necessary changes. By the time that they were done, over an hour had passed. Max started putting away the papers when he asked, You and Miss Thomas, eh? What's the deal there? He rolled his eyes. Nothing to tell, he answered. He wasn't one to kiss and tell, especially when it came to kissing Belle. Not even for your good friend? He laughed then. Max wasn't one to let up when he was after some info or juicy gossip. She's a great woman and a wonderful teacher. Nothing else to tell. Now, why don't I believe that one for a minute? Max was laughing, but he stuck to his guns. Friend or not, he wasn't about to confirm anything to anybody. Let them talk. Let them suspect. Sorry, man, but I have nothing I am willing to share with you regarding Miss Thomas. But my Stephanie asks about you often. A nice change of subject should do the trick. That little doll. Tell her that we'll come by and see her later next week, before the party. I'll tell her. He stood up, followed Max, and they shook hands. See you then. See ya, buddy. He walked to the window after Max left the office, and he stared outside at the children playing during their last recess for the day. Belle was on duty that afternoon, and he admired her ability to include all the kids in whatever games were being played. She would make a wonderful mother, like his wife, he reminded himself. His beautiful wife was such a calm and nurturing woman, and he couldn't wait to add another child to their family. They had been trying for a while. Maybe they would get some good news soon. He moved to his desk and picked up his phone, wanting to send a text to his wife. Hey, honey, thinking about you. He waited a few minutes for her response, and finally his phone buzzed. You're so sweet. Thinking of you too. Heart emoji. Love you. He smiled. Love you too. He put his phone away, all the while thinking of Belle. For watching. For more videos like this, please like and subscribe. Ring the notification bell so you can get notified whenever I upload the next chapter. And remember, today was just one chapter of your story.